Greetings and welcome to another edition of The Great Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Praise be to Goddess. Well, here it is, another Wednesday, and today is the day. Today is the day that it has finally arrived. It's finally arrived. My package arrived from Cowspiracy. Now, this is like the word conspiracy, only with a W instead of an N. So, Cowspiracy. And it's a great movie. I saw it recently, and it's a great movie. It teaches you all about the environment, and I got my package today. I got this nifty Plant Power t-shirt. It says Plant Power, and as you can see, there's a rhinoceros on it, and a little star over here, a little star, and a red stripe along the bottom. It is actually a spoof of the flag of California. It is a spoof of the flag of California, and it's got a rhinoceros because rhinoceroses eat plants and they're strong, so plant power. And that's the idea behind it. And I also got this cool cookbook. This is the official Cowspiracy cookbook, the planet-based diet. Now, planet, you can change that to plant-based diet and it would be accurate because it's a plant-based diet. But it's the planet-based diet by Cowspiracy. And you can get this all on cowspiracy.com. That's where I went after I saw the movie. I went to cowspiracy.com because I want to support them and their efforts to make new movies. And I suggest you support them too, so that they can make more documentaries about animals and the environment and so on. So, what is Cowspiracy, and why did I like it enough to buy a t-shirt and a cookbook from them? Well, Cowspiracy is mostly about the environmental impact of raising livestock for food and raising eggs and dairy. It's about animal food and its impact on the environment. And it's a very good movie. Mostly focuses on, birds and fish and the mammals, birds, fish, and mammals. It doesn't focus so much on bees or insects or any other animal used for food. It mostly focuses on eggs, chicken, fish, dairy, beef, pork, and I guess you can include lamb in that category because that's another one. But I have their website loaded, all ready to go, and I'm going to read you some fast facts about the environment and animal agriculture. Greenhouse gases. Animal agriculture is responsible for 18% of greenhouse gas emissions, more than the combined exhaust from all transportation. Now, I don't know if this includes transportation for fruits and vegetables, or transportation for meat, or transportation for food, or transportation for goods. But it says from all transportation, so that's what it says. It says 18% of greenhouse gas emissions come from animal agriculture, more than the combined exhaust from all transportation. Transportation exhaust is responsible for 13% of all greenhouse gas emissions, so less than animal agriculture. Livestock and their byproducts account for at least 32,000 million, so that's 32 trillion, tons, 32 trillion tons of carbon dioxide per year, or 51% of all greenhouse gas emissions worldwide. So that methane is 25 to 100 times more destructive than CO2 on a 20-year time frame. So it has 25 to 100 times the impact of CO2 over 20 years. Methane has a global warming potential 86 times that of CO2 on a 20-year time frame. So methane is more destructive than CO2. Livestock is responsible for 65% of all human-related emissions of nitrous oxide, a greenhouse gas with 296 times. This is very annoying, I'm sorry. Okay. Livestock is responsible for 65% of all human-related emissions of nitrous oxide, a greenhouse gas with 296 times the global warming potential of carbon dioxide, and which stays in the atmosphere for 150 years. So, livestock is very serious. Emissions for agriculture are projected to increase 80% by 2050. Energy-related emissions expected to increase 20% by 2040. So energy-related emissions are going to increase 20%, but emissions for agriculture will increase 80%, so a lot more. U.S. methane emissions from livestock and natural gas are nearly equal. So you could cut your methane emissions in half by not eating meat or livestock or eggs or dairy. Cows, just cows, not any other species, produce 150 billion gallons of methane per day. Okay, that's a lot. So the methane, half of it comes from cows, and they produce 150 billion gallons per day. That means that 300 billion gallons of methane are being produced per day. And remember, they're 25 to 100 times more potent than CO2. So CO2 is a minor concern when it comes to methane. Converting to wind and solar power will take 20 plus years and roughly $43 trillion. So that has to happen. Wind and solar, we have to convert to wind and solar, but it's going to take $43 trillion. It'll take 20 plus years, but it's worth the money because we're running out of gasoline. And that's going to be a new Armageddon that we're going to face in the near future. Even without fossil fuels, we will exceed our 565 gigatons CO2 limit by 2030, all from raising animals. So it's because of animals. It's because of animal agriculture. Reducing methane emissions would create tangible benefits almost immediately. Water, fracking, hydraulic fracturing. Water use ranges from 70 to 140 billion gallons annually. So fracking is bad. That's how they make the methane for the gas stoves, you know, when you turn on your gas stove, and also for buses. So there's some different uses for natural gas. Animal agriculture water consumption ranges from 34 to 76 trillion gallons annually. Trillion gallons. Imagine how much water you could save by converting to an all plant-based diet. A lot of water. So fracking uses 70 to 140 billion gallons, but animal agriculture consumes 34 to 76 trillion gallons. So why are people so concerned about natural gas when water is using more, animal agriculture is using more water? If you're concerned about water, you should definitely go plant-based. Agriculture is responsible for 80 to 90% of U.S. water consumption. So just imagine how much water we could conserve, and we could ship it to Africa and all over the world, our water, if we just didn't eat animals. Growing feed crops for livestock consumes 56% of water in the U.S. So that's just for the feed crops. That's not the water that the cows are drinking. That's not the water that the cows are drinking. That is just the water to wash down the cows or to clean their stalls. That is just the water used for the feed crops for the livestock. So imagine if all of those crops were being raised just for grains for humans. We would solve world hunger. But 56% of the water in the U.S. is being used for feed crops for livestock. And it accounts, agriculture is responsible for 80 to 90% of U.S. water consumption. So that's all plants. But 56% is from, so you do some quick math, and that's 34% comes from plants for humans, and 56% comes from animals. Californians use 1,500 gallons of water per person per day. Close to half is associated with meat and dairy products. So again, you can cut your water use in half by consuming plants instead of animals. 2,500 gallons of water are needed to produce 1 pound of beef. Very sad fact, but very true. 477 gallons of water are required to produce 1 pound of eggs. Almost 900 gallons of water are needed for 1 pound of cheese. 1,000 gallons of water are required to produce 1 gallon of milk. 5% of water consumed in the U.S. is by private homes. So that's us using our water. They tell you to take shorter showers, but only 5% is coming from that. 55% of water consumed in the U.S. is for animal agriculture. So you're taking a shorter shower and then eating meat is foolish. It's foolhardy. Just don't eat the meat. Animal agriculture is responsible for 20 to 33% of all fresh water consumption in the world today. So, land, livestock or livestock feed occupies 1/3 of the Earth's ice-free land. And that's not counting mountains or valleys or any place else where you can't raise crops or livestock. It covers 1/3 of the Earth's ice-free land. Livestock covers 45% of the Earth's total land. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of species extinction, ocean dead zones, water pollution, and habitat destruction. Very true. All true, and we already knew that, even if we didn't know any of these other facts. Livestock operations on land have created more than 500 nitrogen-flooded dead zones around the world in our oceans. Largest mass extinction in 65 million years. 2 to 5 acres of land are used per cow. Per cow. So that's a lot. Just imagine, I would like to have 2 to 5 acres of land. I've got no land, and I would love to have 2 to 5 acres, but it's used per cow. Nearly half of the contiguous U.S. is devoted to animal agriculture. So half of the land in the U.S. is devoted to animal agriculture. 1/3 of the planet is desertified, with livestock as the leading cause. Waste. Every minute, 7 million pounds of excrement are produced by animals raised for food in the U.S. So that is a lot of poop. And it can't be used for raising vegetables. It can't be used for raising anything else because poop is waste. It's got E. coli in it and all sorts of contaminants, and it can't be used for raising plants. So it just goes in a landfill. So 7 million pounds per minute. So imagine all the minutes in a day. I think there's 1,440 minutes in a day. And then all the days of the year, 365. So that is 7 million pounds per minute. That is a lot of waste. A farm with 2,500 dairy cows produces the same amount of waste as a city of 411,000 people. That is a lot of waste. 130 times more animal waste than human waste is produced in the U.S. 1.4 billion tons from the meat industry annually. 5 tons of animal waste is produced per person in the U.S. annually. So 5 tons per person. In the U.S., livestock produce 116,000 pounds of waste per second. And it goes on to tell you how much per animal. It lists all of them per animal. Animals produce enough waste to cover San Francisco, New York City, Tokyo, and more. There's more cities. They mentioned them all in the movie. Oceans. 3/4 of the world's fisheries are exploited or depleted. We could see fishless oceans by 2048. 90 to 100 million tons of fish are pulled from our oceans each year. As many as 2.7 trillion animals are pulled from the ocean each year. For every 1 pound of fish caught, up to 5 pounds of unintended marine species are caught and discarded as bykill. As many as 40%, or 63 billion pounds, of fish caught globally every year are discarded. Scientists estimate as many as 650,000 whales, dolphins, and seals are killed every year by fishing vessels. Fish catch peaks at 85 million tons. 40 to 50 million sharks killed in fishing lines and nets. Rainforest. Animal agriculture is responsible for up to 91% of Amazon destruction. Now, I'm going to cut it off there. You can find all these facts on Cowspiracy.com. And I looked briefly at this. I just got it. But there's 30 days, which is a whole month, worth of information. Day 3 is species extinction. You can see this. Day 3 species extinction. And livestock covers 45% of the Earth's total land. So this is very interesting. Here's day 1. It's climate change. There's a little anarchy symbol, a little peace symbol, which is nice. It's a good book. I do recommend you see Cowspiracy, though. You can see Cowspiracy on Netflix for free if you have Netflix. I have Netflix, so I was able to watch it for free. But it's $4.99 per viewing, or if you want to buy the DVD and watch it over and over again and show it to all your friends, that's something like $24. But it's a good movie, and I do recommend it. You learn a lot of facts. It's astounding. It's astounding, all the facts they have in the movie. It's mostly facts. There's one slaughter in the whole movie. They show a duck being slaughtered, and it's kind of gruesome. its head gets cut off. But other than that, there's no slaughter in the movie. They kind of stay away from the slaughterhouses in the movie and concentrate on the facts about the environment. It's mostly an environmentalist movie. But if you're interested in animal welfare, obviously, go see Earthlings or any of the other movies that are about. I don't know if Dominion is about animal slaughter or not. I'm not sure, but there's movies out there for people who are concerned about animal welfare. But that's a big aspect. But this is mostly focused on the environment and environmental impacts. So go see Cowspiracy. It's a good movie. Teaches you all about the environment and the impacts of animal agriculture on the environment and how it's mostly responsible for most of the environmental destruction today. Most of the rainforests are being chopped down to produce feed for animals for the U.S. market. The meat's not even going to the South Americans. It's like, why are the South Americans chopping down their rainforests to make themselves hamburgers? Why don't they just cut back on their meat consumption? Well, guess what? That meat goes to the U.S. It's for McDonald's. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind the next time you decide to eat a burger. I'm Sarah Jane Alpha Wolf signing off. You can get your own neat plant power t-shirt at cowspiracy.com or anything else you want from, like Mercy for Animals has their new spring collection. I didn't get that because it's a tank top and I don't really like to show my arms that much, but you can check it out, Mercy for Animals.